Year 2077. Location Earth, but not the Earth we know. Imagine looking out your window and seeing nothing but snow. No trees, no green, no cities basking under the sun. Just a sea of white, cold wind howling across vast ice fields, and the pale blue light of the sky filtered through layers of falling snow. This is not a post-apocalyptic world. This is Earth, as it has always been in this timeline. In this version of history, the Ice Age never ended. For over 100,000 years, glaciers never retreated, the planet never warmed. The Holocene, the period that allowed agriculture, civilization, and rapid human progress, simply never came. Instead, Earth remained in what scientists call a glacial maximum, a state where global temperatures are 10 to 15 degrees Celsius lower than today. Ice sheets cover nearly 70% of the northern hemisphere. Oceans are locked under kilometers of ice, and the equator, a barely livable strip of snow-battered tundra. But here's the twist: humanity still survived, and eventually thrived. With sea levels locked in glaciers, coastlines have shifted dramatically. London is deep inland, connected to Europe by a snowy land bridge. North Africa is buried under permafrost. The Amazon rainforest never formed, it's a massive cold desert. The Sahara is a sheet of frozen dust. Antarctica has expanded its reach, forming massive shells of ice that stretch northward. Australia is a barren, icy plateau. Only the region around the equator remains semi-habitable, and, even then, temperatures rarely rise above -10 degrees Celsius. Most cities that exist in our reality, New York, Tokyo, São Paulo, never rose from the ground. They remain uninhabitable due to extreme cold, shifting glaciers, or buried in kilometers of ice. By 2077, the last remaining humans, about 600 million in total, live in gigantic self-sustaining domes called cryodomes. These cities are buried deep beneath the ice, powered by geothermal energy extracted from magma vents. One of the largest, Cryohaven 9, located in the Pacific Andes, houses 15 million people beneath the mile-thick glacier. It has artificial skies, underground farms, vertical ice gardens, and districts named after lost nations: New Mumbai, Frozen Cairo, Neo Kyoto. Travel between domes happens via magnetic ice rails, hyper-insulated trains that glide through subglacial tunnels at 600 kilometers per hour. It takes 18 hours to get from Cryohaven 9 to the northern fort at Baffin Bay, the geopolitical center of the modern ice-bound world. Each dome is sealed from the deadly cold outside. A single structural failure could cause a dome to depressurize and instantly freeze everyone inside. Safety is not a suggestion, it is the core religion. Over tens of thousands of years, humans evolved differently. Thickened skin, stronger metabolisms, more body hair, shorter extremities to reduce heat loss. Generations born underground lost most of their pigment, giving them pale, almost translucent skin, with violet or amber eyes adapted to dim light. In a world without sun, fire became divine. Most surviving cultures revere fire as a sacred gift. Fire festivals, volcanic pilgrimages, and sunstone temples dominate religious life. Artificial heat isn't just energy, it's belief. The eternal flame of Cryohaven 3 has burned for 700 years straight, and is guarded 24/7 by warrior monks. The dominant belief system is thermism, which teaches that life is warmth and death is cold. Cremation is the standard funeral practice, ashes scattered into molten vents to release the soul to warmth. With the Ice Age unbroken, many Ice Age animals never died out. Mammoths thunder across the Siberian plateau. Saber-toothed cats stalk reindeer herds in Canada. Woolly rhinos and giant elk roam Eurasia. Humans never domesticated horses or cows. Instead, they learned to ride musk oxen and herd reindeer. Mammoths became symbols of strength and tradition. Every cryodome flies a mammoth banner, a reminder of what humanity must be: strong, enduring, resilient. Contrary to what you'd expect, technology flourished. Driven by survival, necessity pushed innovation beyond anything warm-world societies achieved. AI-controlled temperature domes regulate heat to the nanosecond. Heat-core reactors tap into underground lava flows for energy. Drone sleds navigate blizzards to deliver supplies. Snow glacial are transparent. Heat-insulating material stronger than steel is used in all constructions. Humanity didn't stagnate in the cold. It evolved, adapted, engineered its place in the snow. There are no nations anymore. Borders are meaningless under miles of ice. Instead, humanity is divided into cryostates, sovereign domes that cooperate or compete in the Arctic Treaty Alliance. Fort Borealis is the capital of this icy federation, a towering dome nation, built into a frozen cliff above the Bering Strait. Trade happens through geothermal credits. Knowledge is exchanged via the subglacial net and encrypted AI-managed communication system. Physical contact between domes is rare, but not impossible. There are no satellites. The atmosphere is filled with snow and ice particles. Launches are nearly impossible. All technology is grounded or subglacial. Most of the sky remains a mystery. Stars are myths told to children. Only the brave and the exo-tribes venture out at night to see them. In this frozen world, humanity's greatest strength is not intelligence or innovation. It's endurance, the ability to survive when all warmth is gone, when the planet itself seems to reject life. And as we'll see in part 2, the story of why the Ice Age never ended and what we lost because of it goes deeper than anyone imagined. We always thought the Ice Age was a temporary visitor. In this world, it became the host. To understand why the Earth never thawed, we must rewind over 12,000 years when, in our original timeline, the planet began to warm. But in this alternate history, a subtle but crucial change in Earth's orbit, atmosphere, and biosphere rewrote the story of our planet. The orbital shift that changed everything. Earth's climate is tightly bound to something called the Milankovitch cycle, slow, predictable changes in Earth's orbit and axial tilt that influence the planet's temperature over tens of thousands of years. In our timeline, these cycles triggered warming around 11,700 years ago, ending the last glacial period and ushering in the Holocene, an era of flourishing civilizations. But here, one cycle deviated. Earth's axial tilt, instead of increasing, flattened slightly by just 0.2 degrees. This small change reduced solar exposure in northern latitudes, preventing the massive summer melts needed to end the Ice Age. In other words, the world stayed in a permanent glacial hold, locked by the sky itself. To make matters worse, volcanic activity across the planet slowed dramatically during this period. In our timeline, volcanoes like Toba, Icelandic eruptions, and Pacific Ring activity spewed ash and CO, warming the planet through greenhouse effects. In this alternate reality, the Earth became geologically silent. Few eruptions meant less atmospheric CO, further limiting the greenhouse effect. A cooler planet struggled to retain warmth. The skies cleared, but temperatures dropped. By 9000 BCE, Earth was losing more heat than it gained. The Ice Age's chilling grip didn't just affect temperature, it shattered ecosystems. Boreal forests never returned. Grasslands shrank into tundra deserts. Tropical jungles never emerged. Instead, mosses and lichens ruled the equator. With plant diversity crippled, oxygen production slowed. This led to what scientists now call the Great Thin Air Crisis of 8000 BCE. Oxygen levels dipped below 18%, forcing early humans to migrate underground into caves, deep valleys, and geothermal vents. The lungs of the planet were suffocated by snow. Without plant diversity, large herbivores struggled, and the rise of warm-adapted megafauna like elephants, horses, giraffes never occurred. Instead, the animals that survived were woolly mammoths and mastodons, musk oxen, giant sloths and saber-tooths, Arctic foxes, dire wolves, snowy owls. And without these new prey and predator cycles, human culture evolved differently. The domestication of cows, pigs, sheep, cornerstones of early agriculture, never happened. There was no wheat, no rice, no corn. The agricultural revolution, cancelled by the cold. Humans didn't become farmers. They remained nomadic scavengers, hunters, and cave cultivators, learning to grow hardy moss, fungus, and subsurface tubers using geothermal warmth. By 3000 BCE, over 80% of Earth's surface was covered by permanent ice or permafrost. Only equatorial corridors and deep cave systems remained viable. In this crucible of extinction, human civilizations emerged not on rivers or coasts, but in thermal pockets hidden beneath glaciers. Archaeological records recovered by a Sentinel-47 in 2070 confirm the presence of the extent of the Andes Rift, builders of steam-powered water holes deep inside volcanic tunnels. The Kelnar of the East African Rift, who crafted wind harps to harness geothermal winds in icy caves. The Karota clans of Java, known for their obsidian bone tools and language composed of vibration and tone due to frozen vocal cords. These weren't primitive societies. They were resilient architects of survival. Their temples were carved into ice, their legends told in steam and frost. In 2400 BCE, humanity faced its greatest existential threat, the Sky Mirror event. A chain of meteor strikes in Greenland, Iceland, and Kamchatka triggered a catastrophic release of glacial fragments into the upper atmosphere. These micro-ice particles formed a semi-permanent reflective layer that blocked sunlight, further plummeting temperatures by 3 degrees Celsius globally. The phenomenon, known as the Sky Mirror, lasted nearly 300 years. Entire species vanished. The last mammoth herds went extinct in Asia. Human populations shrank to critical levels. It was the closest we came to losing everything. Only 40 million humans remained scattered across less than 1% of Earth's landmass. And yet, from this disaster, new societies rose, those who worshipped the cold, understood the dark, and adapted fully to the new permanence of ice. And yet, from this disaster, new societies rose, those who worshipped the cold, understood the dark, and adapted fully to the new permanence of ice. By 10th century CE, a new paradigm emerged. Humans stopped fighting the cold and started mastering it. With geothermal engineering, cryo-resistant materials, and genetic adaptations, they turned nature's harshest conditions into tools. Artificial suns were built in the deepest domes. Thermal libraries stored heat in liquid salt reservoirs. Fire was not just warmth, it was currency. And in 2077, the leaders of the world aren't kings, presidents, or corporations. They are cryo-architects, men and women trained in balancing ecosystems under the ice. The Great Freeze never left, but humanity, against all odds, never gave up. The Ice Age was not a punishment, it was a test. A test of adaptation, of ingenuity, of how far a species could be pushed before breaking. And in the coldest, darkest chapter of Earth's history, we discovered the warmth within ourselves. Thanks guys for watching.